Good afternoon, Dryden Central School District. I'm coming to you live from my front porch on a Tuesday afternoon in this beautiful, crazy November weather, and it just seemed like it was too good to waste sharing a story with you in my office, so I decided to enjoy the weather with you this afternoon and share with you this great story called Amazing Grace. And Amazing Grace is the story of a little girl who wants to do something very badly, and some people are telling her that she can't do it. And the big picture point of this story is to not let anybody tell you that you can't do anything that you want to do. So this is called Amazing Grace, and it's by Mary Hoffman, and the pictures are illustrated by a woman named Carolyn Binch. And so this is the story of Amazing Grace, and it goes something like this. So, Grace was a girl who loved stories. She didn't mind if they were read to her or told to her or made up in her own head. She didn't care if they were in books or movies or out of Nana's long memory. Grace just loved stories. After she heard them, and sometime while they were still going on, Grace would act them out, and she would always give herself the most exciting part. And Grace's Nana is her grandma, and some of you might call your grandma Nana too. It said Grace went into battle as Joan of Arc and wove a wicked web as Anansi the spider. And look at her, she's being Joan of Arc and then Anansi the spider. And it says she hid inside the wooden horse at the gates of Troy, and she went exploring for lost kingdoms. She sailed the 7 seas with a peg leg and a parrot. She was all of these things. She was Hiawatha sitting by the shining big sea water, and Mowgli in the backyard jungle. Take a look at her there. Most of all, Grace loved to act out adventure stories and fairy tales. When there was no one else around, Grace played all the parts herself. She set out to seek her fortune with no companion but her trusty cat, and found a city with streets paved in gold. Or she was Aladdin rubbing his magic lamp to make the genie appear. And here she is acting all of those things out. And sometimes she would get Ma and Nana to join in when they weren't too busy. Then she was Dr. Grace, and their lives were in her hands. And look at her taking care of her mom and her Nana. Her poor mom's got bandages all around her head. One day, Grace's teacher said they would do the play Peter Pan, and Grace knew who she wanted to be. When she raised her hand, Raj said, "You can't be Peter, it's a boy's name." But Grace kept her hand up. "You can't be Peter Pan," whispered Natalie. "He isn't black." But Grace kept her hand up. "All right," said the teacher. "Lots of you want to be Peter Pan, so we'll have auditions next week to choose parts." She gave them words to learn. She wants to be Peter in Peter Pan, and people are saying she can't play Peter Pan because she's not a boy and because she's black. And Grace is undeterred. That means she is not going to let that stop her. She believes, and rightfully so, that if she wants to be Peter and she's the best at it, she should have that part. So when Grace got home, she seemed sad. "What's the matter?" asked Ma. "Raj said I can't be Peter Pan because I'm a girl." "That just shows you what Raj knows," said Ma. "A girl can be Peter Pan if she wants to be." So Grace cheered up. Then later she remembered something else. "Natalie says I can't be Peter Pan because I'm black," she said. Ma looked angry. But before she could speak, Nana said, "It seems that Natalie is another one who doesn't know anything. You can be anything you want, Grace, if you put your mind to it." And her Nana is exactly right. On Saturday, Nana told Grace they were going out. In the afternoon, they caught a bus and a train into town, and Nana took Grace to a grand theater. The sign outside read, "Rosalie Wilkins and Romeo and Juliet" in sparkling lights. "Are we going to the ballet?" Nana asked Grace. "We are, honey, but first I want you to look at this picture." Grace looked up and saw a beautiful young girl, a young ballerina in a tutu. And above the dancer, it said, "Stunning New Juliet." And so look at, there's the theater. And then here's the poster with the ballerina who's playing Juliet. And she looks a lot like Grace. That one is little Rosalie from back home in Trinidad, said Nana. Her granny and me, we grew up together on the island. She's always asking me, do I want tickets to see her Rosalie's dance? So this time I said yes. And Trinidad is an island in the Caribbean, which is off the coast of Florida. So there's a lot of islands off the coast of Florida in the Caribbean Sea, and one of them is an island called Trinidad. And after the ballet, Grace played the part of Juliet, dancing around her room in her imaginary tutu. I can be anything I want, she thought. So there she is, being a ballerina. Look. On Monday, the class met for auditions to choose who was best for each part in Peter Pan. When it was Grace's turn to be Peter, she knew exactly what to do and all of the words to say. She'd been Peter Pan all weekend. She took a deep breath and imagined herself flying, and it was time to vote. The class chose Raj to be Captain Hook and Natalie to be Wendy. There was no doubt who would be Peter Pan. Everyone voted for Grace. "You are fantastic," whispered Natalie. Remember, Natalie is someone that told her she couldn't be Peter Pan. The play was a big success, and Grace was an amazing Peter Pan. After it was all over, she said, "I feel as if I could fly all the way home." "You probably could," said Ma. "Yes," said Nana. "If Grace put her mind to it, she can do anything she wants." And that's the story of Amazing Grace. And we hope you enjoyed that edition of Stories with the Superintendent. And we'll see you next week. Enjoy the weather while it lasts. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and always remember your lion pride. We'll see you soon.